व्रजप्रियम् धर्म संस्थापकं वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्।
शरणं हरि शरणं हरि शरणं हरि शरणं हरि शरणं हरि शरणं
हरि शरणं हरि शरणं
हरि शरणं हरि शरणं
हरि शरणं हरि शरणं
हरि शरणं हरि शरणं
हरि शरणं हरि शरणं हरि शरणं हरि शरणं
हरि शरणं हरि शरणं हरि शरणं हरि शरणं हरि शरणं हरि शरणं हरि शरणं हरि शरणं हरि शरणं हरि
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल नारायण हरि नारायण नारायण हरि
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल नारायण
सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनौ रघुबर विमल जसु जोदायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतई सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माही जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज सम्हारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबरपुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय।
सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं व्रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा, ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी, वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी, स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे, परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे, उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे लक्ष्य यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागो सारी दुर्बलता को, राष्ट्र समर्थ बनाओ।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागो सारी दुर्बलता को, राष्ट्र समर्थ बनाओ। बंधु भाव समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ, सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर, शुभ संदेश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, 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 गीता परिवार हमारा।
Jai Shri Krishna, and a very warm welcome to all the sadhaks this evening who are gathered in this Zoom arena. I start with my head bowed in devoted and sincere reverence on the lotus feet of Bhagavan Shri Krishna and Param Pujya Swami Shri Acharya Govindev Giriji Maharaj. May we always have their guidance and blessings in our lives. As we gather for the second part of the Vivechan session on chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, which is Sankhya Yoga, it is a moment to remember the timeless Gita Gyan that continues to guide humanity through the ages. In our previous session, we saw how Bhagavan Shri Krishna began lifting Arjuna out of the sorrow by revealing the eternal nature of the soul, an insight that resonates deeply, especially as we celebrate Gita Jayanti, the foundation of the celebration of the 40th year of the founding of Gita Pariwar. We reflected on how these teachings guide us from confusion towards inner steadiness, reminding us that the wisdom of Gita Ji is timeless and ever relevant even today in 2025. With that grounding, we now continue our journey to delve into the next set of shlokas in this session. And now, a couple of simple suggestions to make your listening to the Vivechan session more immersive. If there is no or very low sound volume, then please connect headphones or increase the volume of your phone or computer. If chat box is blinking continuously, tap the bell icon at the top right corner to mute notifications. Please check your internet connection and if possible, use Wi-Fi instead of mobile data if you see blurry screen or if the speaker's voice keeps breaking frequently. If Zoom keeps disconnecting, then you may also watch the session on the YouTube link. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan has said that the way to attain him is to always have our mind united with him in devotion. And we know that prayers are a natural mode through which our soul communicates its devotion to the Paramatma. Today, I would like to call upon Savita Narayanji, all the way from Philadelphia, USA, to deliver prayers on all our behalf. Having joined Gita Pariwar in February 2025, Savita ji provides seva as a TA and as a GC. Savita ji, request you to please lead us in our prayers today. Jai Shri Krishna. Didi, you need to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Jai Shri Krishna. Vasudevasutan devam Kausachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnau Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishnau Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna Didi, and thank you so much for entering the prayer so melodiously. Bhagwan has also said that he is the source of light in all the luminaries and is entirely beyond the darkness of ignorance. Geeta ji is the medium Bhagwan has used to illuminate our lives and minds with that light. For doing the deep Prajwalan today, I would like to call upon Dr. Soumya Ramesh Upuluri from Pune. Soumya ji, a doctor by profession and also a student of Advaita Vedanta, joined Geeta Pariwar in March 2024. Having completed the Char Dham Yatra and the Pathak exam, Soumya ji gives seva as a co-trainer. Soumya ji, request you to please light the lamp of wisdom on our behalf.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you so much, Soumya ji, for taking us into your beautiful mandir and making us part of the deep Prajwalan. And the sadhaks present here, as you may already know, Learngeeta is celebrating the Geeta Jayanti Mahotsav from 15th of November to 31st of December. As part of this celebration, starting November 15th, we are having 60 online Parayanas, both in the morning and in the evening, with 1080 Geeta Sevis taking part in this massive Mahotsav. Do join and be part of this beautiful online Parayanas. You too can be part of this Mahayagya by organizing various events like Parayana, Shobha Yatra, or competitions relating to Geeta Ji in your locality. The Geeta Jayanti portal, which is geetajayanti.com, is open, so please do go and register yourself as soon as possible. You too can give your selfless seva at the feet of Bhagwan through Geeta Pariwar's unique Aao Geeta Sevi Bane program, where we have thousands of sevis giving seva in this Mahayagya in various ways. Multiple sessions in 5 languages are being held over this and the next weekend. The Bangla session will be held at 8:30 p.m. today. Details to the sessions are being sent to your WhatsApp participants group. And now, it is my profound honor to introduce our speaker this evening, Senior Trainer Vikas Ji Vaidya. Vikas Ji, with his deep study and knowledge, provides unique and valuable perspective through innumerable commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. A world traveler who has been an NRI for 12 years, Vikasji is a polyglot speaking 6 languages, namely Hindi, Marathi, English, Indonesian, Malaysian, and Spanish. With a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and a postgraduate diploma in business management, he runs an IT company from Pune. Over the last 5 years, Vikasji has been chanting the entire Bhagavad Gita every single day of the year. Besides his own personal sadhana, because Vikasji is a senior trainer at Geeta Pariwar, serves in providing training and is involved in the process of selection and training of new trainers. He is involved in teaching and conducting impactful Vivechan sessions on Vishnu Sahasranama as a member of the Pune chapter of Geeta Pariwar. He guides aspiring Geeta Vratis for the Geeta exam conducted by the Sringeri Peeth at Karnataka. He has himself aced the Geeta Kanthasthi exam at Sringeri Peeth, for which he was awarded the first prize at the hands of Param Pujya Jagadguru Shankaracharya ji. I now humbly request Vikasji to take us to the battlefield where we find Bhagwan Shri Krishna teaching about the immortality of the soul, the steadiness of the mind, and the path of selfless action that would help Arjuna change from a mental state of confusion to clarity. Vikasji, request you to start the Vivechan. I think he's facing some issue in joining. We'll give it a minute. Our backend team is trying to get in touch with Vikasji. In the meanwhile, just to remind you that we have the Aao Geeta Sevi Bane program today at 8:30 in Bangla and next weekend in English, Hindi, and Kannada. This is a very unique program of Geeta Parivar, where all of us can come together and give seva to Bhagwan in with whatever little time we have, in whatever department that we want. It's not that it is just about the co-trainer or the group coordinator or the TA that you see in your classes, but there are 80 departments like calling, like Vivechan writing. There are so many other departments that are there. It can be as short as 10 minutes in a day. If that is all that you can spare, so be it. But do join these sessions. And as Bhagwan says, karma and seva are the main important things in our life. And be part of this. Tanushri Didi, while we wait for Bhaiya, shall we listen to the chanting of the chapter? In case you have not joined the sessions of the Geeta Parayan that is happening as part of Geeta Jayanti, it is held in the morning for one chapter every day through the weekdays and the entire Sampurna Parayan on the weekends. And we have the Sampurna Parayan every day of the week in the evening except Sunday. They are held by various language teams as well as the various Sevi teams that work for Geeta Pariwar. And it is a unique opportunity for us to hear the entire Gita, the 18 chapters, 700 shlokas, every day of the month. I'm sure joining these Parayan sessions will bring us much, much, much closer to Bhagwan, because we will probably start to understand each of the shlokas, each of the teachings that Bhagwan has given in these shlokas. Just a minute, kindly let me check. I think we are starting.
Adaram madhuram vadanam madhuram nayanam madhuram hasitam madhuram hridayam madhuram gamanam madhuram
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुराः पाणिर्मधुराः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
तरणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
कुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपी मधुरा लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं दृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपा मधुरा गावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
दीदी विकास जी आ गए क्या?
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल 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 नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल
Jai Shri Krishna again. I sincerely apologize for the technical glitch, which is sometimes outside our control. And I think Vikas ji has joined, so let us start with the Vivechan session.
वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं जय श्री कृष्ण टू ऑल। पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन। We are discussing अध्याय second. Last time we discussed up to श्लोक number 12. So we start with श्लोक number 13 now. देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. God says, see the Jivatma, that means the pure self, residing within this body. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. As being separate from body, continuously passing from childhood to youth to old age. Kaumarai yauvanai jara. And after that, the death of this body, it acquires a new body. Dehantara praptir. It acquires new body, a new form. It is only the wise people who do not get disconcerted by this change of form. Tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra na muyate. They don't get perturbed, they don't get disturbed. They consider death as a continuation of birth, child age, young age, old age, and death. Link of the same chain. So the central idea is that as a common man in old age knows that despite changes in body, he is the same man who was in childhood and in youth. Similarly, the enlightened man remains aware that death will not change him. Like the youth and old age has not changed him, the death also will not change him. You grieve because due to ignorance you identify yourself with the gross body. I am child, I am a youth, or I am an old man. This is our conviction. But this is just our ignorance. Because Jivatma residing in our perishable body is imperishable. The journey from one body to another is that of our subtle body, Sukshma Sharir. Gross body drops dead, but Sukshma Sharir, it occupies the next body. Now let us understand what is gross, subtle and causal bodies. Gross, subtle and causal, Sthul, Sukshma and Karan Sharir. We have these three bodies. All we are aware is our gross body, Sthul Sharir. And therefore we obsess about keeping this gross body fit and presentable at all times. We feed it, we beautify it, keep it happy all the time. We have completely forgotten about our subtle body, our Sukshma Sharir. The subtle body is constituted of 19 elements. Which are those? 5 sense organs, Dhanendriyas, 5 motor organs, that is Karmendriyas, 5 pranas, mind, intellect, and subconscious, that is Chitra, and Aham, that is ego. Now these 5 senses, 5 sense organs, smell, sight, taste, hearing, and touch, and 5 Karmendriyas, or hands, legs, tongue, and organs of urination and disposal of body waste. These 10 organs essentially function, they are not a part of body, but they function from subtle body. They keep functioning because of presence of subtle body in our Sthula Sharir, and the manifesting as motor activity, Karmendriyas, in our gross bodies. So subtle body is not carrying them physically, but it makes them functional. Both subtle body and gross body are the handiwork of Prakriti, nature. When the subtle body permeates the external framework of our gross body, this results in functioning of sense and motor organs, Dhanendriyas and Karmendriyas. Hence the actions like seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, they become possible. And at the moment of death, what happens? When the subtle body leaves the gross body, all the actions, they cease, they stop. Then the gross body cannot get up. It has legs, but it cannot get up. It cannot walk. It cannot talk, though it has the tongue. It cannot eat, though it has the mouth and tongue. It cannot smell, though it has the nose. It cannot do anything. It cannot do anything. Dead forever. Gross body is dead forever when the death takes place. Now, knowing this, that it is the Sukshma Sharir, the subtle body, which was making our Sthula Sharir, gross body, to function, do we love our gross body or our subtle body? Which is more important for us, our gross body or our subtle body? Sthul Sharir or Sukshma Sharir? After knowing this function of subtle body, all of us will say, of course, subtle body, because that is giving energy to the Sthul Sharir. Without subtle body, the gross Sharir is dead. So definitely subtle body is more important, Sukshma Sharir is more important. After all, who loves the dead body? As long as the subtle body exists, we are loved by our mother, father, brother, sister, spouse. But no sooner the subtle body, the Sukshma Sharir, leaves the gross body at the time of death, no one wants to keep the rotting gross body in the home. All arrangements are made to cremate as soon as possible. उनको ले जाओ जल्दी से. So in reality, we love our subtle body, not the gross body. But we don't know this fact. And as a result of our ignorance, we get attached to our gross body and remain completely unaware of our Sukshma Sharir, our subtle body. Now, having required this profound knowledge from Bhagavad-Gītā, if the question is asked again, should we focus more on our gross body or should we focus more on our subtle body? Sthul Sharir or Sukshma Sharir? Now, everybody will say, of course, Sukshma Sharir. Now, all of us will fall in love with the Sukshma Sharir, the subtle body. Shri Krishna Bhagavan says in this shloka, from childhood to youth, to old age to death, the gross body changes its forms. Then at the time of death, the old body is shed and the subtle body gets a new body, a new form. But during this entire cycle of movement from one to another, from one body to another, the Jivatma remains the same. That is why we feel drawn towards a completely stranger sometimes. You like that unknown person for no rhyme or reason. Do you know why? Why we like some unknown person? Because the two of you have been close in some previous lifetime. But the death of previous gross bodies, the subtle bodies moved on and their individual journey, and when they happen to meet again, the Sukshma Sharir, the subtle body gets drawn to another person's subtle body. It recognizes. Yet the gross bodies are unfamiliar. Gross bodies have changed. They don't know anything about the past. Hence this inexplicable urge to get to know a stranger. See, we are not new on this planet. We have come here several times in the past also. We're all ancient. And it is entirely possible that the kind of spiritual discussions that we are having now on Bhagavad-Gītā, we might have had similar discussions in the previous lives. Possible. Maybe I am sitting where you are sitting and someone of you will be talking where I am sitting here. But we may have these discussions sometimes in the previous lives also. For the subtle body, depending upon its desires and of course the karmas, it acquires the appropriate new gross body in appropriate time and at appropriate place. When a man who was born in India underwent past life regression, he found himself in the body of an Englishman. हो सकता है ना? Likewise, there are many Europeans and Americans who say that they must have been born in India in some of their previous lifetimes, because they have a very strange and inexplicable attraction for India and its culture. I myself have a close friend, a Frenchman from Paris. His name is Patrick Delano. He was and is still madly in love with India. I had asked him 15 years back, Patrick, what exactly do you like in India? Do you like the dusty roads here? 15 years back, we were even worse than what we are today. So the dusty roads or the unmanageable crowd or the traffic or the pollution here, what exactly do you like? He said, all that does not matter. Because all that does not matter, I love the people of India. Talking to them, I feel as if I am with my own people, as if I have known them for ages. Now, Patrick's forefathers had some connection with the French colony in India, that is Pondicherry. So there must be some relation of the Sukshma Sharir in my body and the Sukshma Sharir and Patrick's body. That's why we get attracted to each other. Shri Bhagavan says to Arjuna, the wise one remains unruffled by death of the gross body. He does not mourn, does not grieve, for he knows that his journey will continue in another body. It's a transition. It will take another body and it will continue the journey. Journey doesn't stop with the death. And who is this wise person who knows all this that Shri Krishna Bhagavan is referring to? The one who has higher wisdom, a refined pure intellect that understands all. How do we connect it to our day-to-day life? This shloka. In a quiet suburban home, an elderly man named Mr. Raman, he lived with his young granddaughter Meera. One day, she was playing with her in his room, Grandpa's room. Meera looked at the wall of Grandpa's room and she saw 3 photographs on that wall. One picture, a little boy holding a school bag. Another picture, a teenage boy running in the race. And third picture, a grown man, an old man receiving an award. So curiously she asked, Grandpa, who is this little boy? And who is this man? And why do you have these photos on your wall here in the room? Mr. Raman, he chuckled softly and said, these 3 are actually all my photos only. I am there in all the 3 photos. Meera was shocked. You, but they look so different. Each one is looking so different. How can you say that you are there in all of them? How can they all be you? Raman lifted her on his lap and he explained gently to Meera, when I was a child, I looked like that little boy in the first picture. When I grew older, I was that young man running in the race. Much later, I became the man receiving the award. And now I have become this old grandpa standing in front of you. Meera stared at him with wide eyes and said, but grandpa, if the body keeps changing, then what stays the same? How do you know that this is the same? Raman smiled. He tapped her little on her chest and he said, over the heart, he patted here and he said, the one who watches it all happen, the one who feels the joy, the sadness, the dreams, that me is the inner self. That never changes. That inner me never changes. Then he continued to say, just like you watch different cartoons on TV, but you remain same viewer. Do you change watching different cartoons on TV? In the same way, the soul watches the body pass through childhood, pass through youth and the old age. It simply changes bodies, just like changing clothes. Meera, she nodded slowly and beginning to understand this whole thing. So even if your body grows old, you are still the same inside. Mr. Raman replied to Meera, yes, my dear, the real I does not grow old. The body changes, but the soul continues its journey. Then Meera ran to the wall. She looked at the 3 pictures again and she whispered, so grandpa is forever. He's not going to go away. Raman, he smiled with a deep peace and he said, not forever in this body, but forever in the soul. I will continue to be there in the soul, not in this gross body. So what do we understand from this story? The body changes constantly, child, youth, adult and old age. The self, the soul, the Atma remains unchanged, just witnessing these transitions. Physical changes do not affect the inner eternal consciousness. Understanding this brings peace, fearlessness and acceptance of life's flow. That death is one link in the same process of flow. birth, child age, youth, old age, death, birth, same. Again, cycle continues. So knowing this, we have peace in mind. We stop fearing about the death of body, gross body, and we start accepting this flow of life from lifetime to lifetime. Okay, next loka. Matra sparshaastu kaunteya shītoshna sukha dukkhadah agama nityas tamstitikshasva bharata. The relationship of contact between sense and their sense objects. Matra sparsha, that is called matra sparsha. Eyes seeing something, matra sparsha. Ears hearing something, matra sparsha. So the relationship of contact between sense and the corresponding sense objects is the cause of feeling of heat and cold, shitoshna, pain and pleasure, sukha dukkha. Kaunteya, that is son of Kunti, Arjuna, they are transitory. Agama paino, aate jate, agama paino. They come and go. They are not permanent. Therefore, tamstitikshasva bharata. Therefore, bear with them calmly. Don't keep complaining. Bear with them. That is the only way to handle the changes of sukha, dukkha, shita, ushna, all that. Because they are agama paino. They come and they go. To avoid pain and to get happiness, human beings in this world depend on their mind and senses. The five senses in turn depend on their five respective sense objects. Eyes depend on seeing, ears depend on hearing. So each sense depends on the corresponding sense object. But the common fate of all of them is impermanent and transitory. Scriptures therefore recommend that a true devotee, a true seeker after truth should not abandon his endeavor when he is afflicted by pain, grief, or even pleasure. Because even pleasure can distract. He should also observe titiksha. Titiksha means inner discipline, tolerance, the spiritual training of mind and senses to remain same in all situations, and continue with his commitment to attain the God. Scriptures recommend observance of titiksha for everybody because it contributes to building discipline and character. So whether we are living our material life or the spiritual life, titiksha is one attribute which all of us should acquire. It helps us in material life and definitely it helps us in the spiritual life. See, our eyes cannot perceive that which is immortal, that which is birthless and deathless. All that is tangible, perceptible to our eyes is mortal. That which has taken birth is formed of the five sense objects: sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. These five sense objects are from five elements: Panchamahabhuta, air, water, fire, earth, and space. How? Let us take some example. All colors that we see comprise the elements of Agni, fire. The deity presiding over the sense of feeling, seeing, eyes seeing, is the sun god. As without light, eyes cannot see any form whatsoever, isn't it? Thus the eyes, the light, the form, and the color are all formed from Agni. Now, when everything is formed from Agni, eyes, light, form, color, where is our you or where is our I in this? What is the value of I that comes in all the time? Where is I in all this? Eyes are seeing, light is given by sun god, we are seeing the form, we are seeing the colors. Where is this I? Nevertheless, Parabrahma has no problem. If you keep saying, I see, I have done, I will do. When we keep saying this, that I have done, God says, okay, believe whatever you want to believe. I don't come in the picture. An elephant was crossing a weak bridge. It started to sway away under the weight of the elephant. The bridge was quite weak, and when the elephant started walking on the bridge, it started swaying. Meanwhile, a tiny fly came and sat on the top of the elephant. When the duo, the elephant and the fly, they crossed the bridge, the fly said to the elephant, see how two of us have managed to shake the bridge. You and me have managed to shake up the bridge. The elephant replied, I was not even aware of your existence till you spoke. Such a teensy-weensy fly, but it was so deluded into thinking that because of its weight, the bridge was shaking. It contributed to the shaking of bridge. Our sense of doership, Kartrutva Viman, is like that fly. In the story, the elephant spoke out that because of me it was happening, but Parabrahman never speaks also. Parabrahma does not even do that. When we claim our doership, it says, okay, believe whatever you want to believe. Our karma is like that fly only. We are nothing. We keep on harping about what we did, what we ate, and what we saw, what we heard. And we keep talking about it when we meet somebody else. All our conversation is related to our sense organs, in fact. We enjoyed it so much, we say. But who enjoyed it? Good food is enjoyed by the tongue. Good music is enjoyed by the ears. Good sights are enjoyed by the eyes, and so on and so forth. So why you say, I enjoyed? So in effect, the sense organs are enjoying the sense objects. But you say, I had such a good time. How did this I come into the business of sense objects and sense organs? So whenever we enjoy the sensory world through our sense organs, we should use our discriminative wisdom and ask ourselves, who is enjoying this? Beware eyes that are seeing and the mind that is enjoying through the medium of eyes. Apply this question, asking habit as to who is enjoying or who is doing whatever activity you are doing in our day-to-day life. If you hear something good, ask yourself, who has heard? Who is getting pleased? You will get the instant reply. The ears are hearing and the mind is getting pleased. Ask this question about every karma, everything that is happening through sense and sense objects. If we cultivate this habit in daily life, we will slowly start moving away from I am body, I am mind, I am senses syndrome. Even when the tired body lies down to rest, be aware who is tired. Ask who is tired. You will get the answer. Body is tired. Who wants to sleep? Body wants to sleep. Who will get the rest? Body will get the rest. You will become a witness of your own body which gets tired and which gets rested. So we simply become a witness. This witness role of us should be cultivated. Then only we can come out of this I am body, I am mind, I am senses feeling. Present in one moment and disappearing in the next moment. Likewise, our body too is temporal, present now, but will disappear in due course of time. So where is the question of mourning in that case then? Shri Bhagavan says, your body is mortal, perishable. Impermanence is the very nature of your body. Hence, why mourn the inevitable death of your body and bodies of your near ones and dear ones? Remember these words of Shri Krishna whenever we face the death of the body, whether it is the body of someone near one and dear one, or our own body. Next shloka. Yam hina vedayanti re purusham purusharshava samadukha sukandhiram somrtatvaya kalpate. The greatest among men regard happiness and sorrow alike, samadukha sukandhiram, and does not have restlessness for sensory gratification. Yam hina vedayanti te. He is neither excited nor disturbed by happiness or sorrow. And only such a person who is steady in all situations is eligible for attainment of liberation, moksha, mukti. See, as we know from Bhagavad-Gītā, knowledge is of two types, para knowledge and apara knowledge. We learn this in seventh adhyaya also, para prakriti and apara prakriti. Apara refers to the worldly knowledge, earning money, running a household, social norms. This is all apara. While para is that knowledge which takes beyond this world, is the knowledge of Parabrahma. The Gita is the knowledge of Parabrahma. But we will find this useful for our worldly life as well. Gita is a para knowledge. It helps us in our para life also. It helps us. Bhagavad Gita helps us in this phenomenal world and the other world also, the paraloka also, after the death of body. The wise one is neither perturbed by hell nor excited by the heaven, because he knows that pleasure and pain are both transitory. Hence, do not become complacent by happiness or get distressed by sorrow. Know that all is mandatory. All that comes will go. Agama paino. But who will know this? Only the best among men or women. They alone will have the intellect to absorb, to understand this message of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. They alone will know that everything is impermanent, be it happiness or sorrow, or indeed this mortal body, this is also impermanent. Such a steady, composed person is never frustrated by the pursuit of sensual gratification. He or she will never hanker for sensory pleasures, because they are agama paino. They will come and go, nothing permanent. In addition, this slok carries a message for all spiritual aspirants. Give up the habit of complaining, grumbling. This is not right, that is lacking. Why did this happen to me? Why did he do this to me? Why she did not do that for me? Do not be a complainer, constantly moaning and groaning about everything and everybody in the life. Whether it is your father, mother, brother, sister, spouse, friend, relative, business partner, anybody. We are unable to respond appropriately. Even when the minor problems take place, we suddenly lose our balance and we don't respond appropriately. We feel as if somebody is robbing us. We start retorting as if we are going to lose something huge. And we find charm in complaining and complaining. Aisa ho gaya, waisa ho gaya, he did that to me, that did that to me, all that. How can we bring balance to our lives? There is a small story about Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google. At a restaurant, he has written an article, Sundar Pichai. He says, at a restaurant, he was sitting in that restaurant, he saw that a cockroach suddenly flew from somewhere and sat on a lady. Cockroach. Now, this was a very ordinary situation, but see how we respond. She started screaming out of fear. We know the relationship between cockroaches and women. So she started running. With a panic-stricken face and trembling voice, she started jumping with both her hands, desperately trying to get rid of that cockroach sitting on her body. Her actions was contagious, as everyone in her group also got panicky. वो चिल्ला रही थी और सब चिल्लाने लगे. The lady finally managed to push the cockroach away. कुछ करके किया, वो दूर किया, but it landed on the another lady in the group. उड़ के दूसरे लेडी के ऊपर जाके बैठ गया. Now it was the turn of other lady in the group to continue that drama of shouting and dancing and going here and there. The waiter was watching this. He rushed forward to their rescue. In the relay of throwing, the cockroach next fell on the waiter. The waiter stood firm. He did not dance, he did not shout. Composed himself. Observed the behavior of that cockroach on his shirt. When he was confident enough, he grabbed it with his fingers and threw it out of the restaurant. Sundar Pichai says, sipping my coffee and watching the amusement that was going in front of me, the antenna of my mind picked up a few thoughts and started wondering, was the cockroach responsible for this historic behavior of all the group here? Was the cockroach responsible? If so, If cockroach was responsible, why was the waiter not disturbed? Why waiter did not dance and shout like the other ladies? He handled it near perfection, without any chaos. So it is not the cockroach, but the inability of those people to handle the disturbance caused by the cockroach. That disturbed the ladies. I realized, he says, I realized that not the shouting of my father or my boss or my wife that disturbs me, but it is my inability to handle the disturbances caused by their shouting that disturbs me. When I find myself helpless, not capable of handling the disturbance, then I get more panicky. So it is not a traffic jam on the roads that disturbs me, he says, but my inability to handle the disturbance caused by the traffic jams. That disturbs me. More than the problem, it is my reaction to the problem that creates all chaos in the life. He says, I understood. I should not react in life. I should always respond to the situation. Not react, but respond. The women in that restaurant, they reacted when the cockroach sat on somebody's body. And whereas the waiter, he responded. So there's a huge difference between reacting and responding. We should respond to the situation and not react. Reactions are always impulsive, whereas the responses are always well thought of. So this is a beautiful way to understand the life. We make our beautiful life complicated by reacting inappropriately in most situations. When we are required to respond, we react and make the things more complicated. A person who is happy in life is not so because everything is right in his life. There is no one person who, for whom everything going on in his life is all good, happy. He is happy because his attitude towards everything in his life is right. That's why he is happy. Bhagavad-Gītā teaches us the purpose of meditation to attain this mental status. The purpose of meditation is to regulate the mind to such stillness that even during most awful situations in life, we are able to pause, analyze the situation, and take action accordingly, respond to the situation, and not react to the situation. In this shloka, Bhagavan Shri Krishna lists the eligibility criteria for attaining the liberation, moksha, saying that only one who does not get perturbed under any circumstances is eligible for liberation. So seeing such small things happening in our day-to-day life around us, we should learn this message. We should remember this shloka of Bhagavad-Gītā. Our skill lies in relating day-to-day life with the Bhagavad-Gītā. In fact, here the Lord has not said liberation. Rather, the word used by him is nectar, amrut. What is the essence of amrut, nectar? The essence of amrut is, I am eternal, I am immortal, I am nectarous, self, soul, atma. Knowing this is moksha. You don't have to die for moksha. Knowing this, attaining this jnana is a moksha. Thus, attaining the nectar of self-realization is moksha, which Shri Krishna Bhagavan is saying in this shloka. Continuing further, God says, Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sadaha, ubayor vidrushtaontas tvanayo statvadarshivih. At no time will there be the absence of truth. Truth is eternal. On the other hand, although the untruth appears to exist, it is just an illusion. The untruth has no existence, whereas the truth will always prevail. These are two unchangeable fundamental facts that weigh the essence of both the truth and untruth is realized by the Tattvadarshibhi, the enlightened ones. This profound statement from Lord Krishna may appear simple on the surface, but it contains one of the most fundamental principles of our Vedanta. This shloka gives the intellectual foundation for the Gita's teachings on the self on karma, on duty, and on liberation. To understand this shloka, we must explore 4 layers of understanding: philosophical meaning, practical implications, spiritual significance, and psychological transformations. Let us do it one by one. Understanding the term real and unreal. In ordinary language, real means something that exists physically, and unreal means something that is imaginary, isn't it? Real and unreal. But in Vedanta, the term has a deeper meaning, real and unreal. Vedanta says the real, that means the Sat, that which exists in all 3 periods of life, past, present, and future. That does not change. That which is eternal, self-luminous, and independent. That is Sat. That is real. That is truth. This refers to Atma, the soul. Because all these conditions, they apply only to Atma, our pure consciousness. And what is unreal? Asat, untruth. That which does not exist independently. That which is temporary, changing, and ultimately perishable. Appears to exist for some time, but eventually disappears. This refers to body, mind, emotions, material objects, experiences, and the entire world of change. Shri Krishna Bhagavan is presenting the first and most crucial distinction between eternal reality and temporary appearance, with Sat and Asat. The core message of this shloka is what changes cannot be ultimately real. Everything about the body changes. The childhood becomes youth, youth becomes old age. Health changes, health becomes sickness. Strength changes, becomes weakness. Health becomes sickness, strength becomes weakness. Life also changes, life becomes old age and death. Since the body is constantly changing, it cannot be real by Vedanta definition. In the Vedantic sense, body cannot be real because it is changing. Similarly, the mental status. So body is not real. Come to mind. The mental state, the states also constantly change. Our joy, is it permanent? No, it turns into sorrow. Our confidence, is it permanent? No, it turns into doubt sometime. Our calmness, is it permanent? No, it turns into anxiety sometime. Our passion, is it constant? No, it becomes lethargic sometime. So if the joy becomes sorrow, confidence gets changed to doubt, calmness becomes anxiety, and the passion becomes lethargy. Thus, the mind too cannot be called truly real because it is changing. Every now and then changing. But something that remains unchanged through all these changes of body and mind, that something is the witnessing consciousness, the seer of all experiences. It watched the body as a child. It watched the body coming into an adult. It watched the body grow old. The witness, which is continuously observing, it does not age. It does not age. This witnessing consciousness, it does not age. Therefore, Shri Krishna Bhagavan says, the real never ceases to be. Real always continues. That is our consciousness, our soul, our Atma. Thus, Atma, eternal, unchanging, and indestructible. How this explains the context of Arjuna's confusion now? Shri Krishna Bhagavan, Arjuna is grieving because he sees the destruction of bodies during the war. Shri Krishna Bhagavan is teaching here, addressing the root of that grief. If the body is unreal, temporary, its death is not destruction of person. If the soul is eternal, then nobody is ever truly killed. What we call death is only the transition of unreal, that means body, not the end of real, that means the soul. Thus, Shri Krishna Bhagavan builds the philosophical basis for fearlessness. We are most afraid about our death. God says, remove that. You are not going to die. You are immortal. So it helps us to create fearlessness, duty, and righteous actions. It encourages us to do that. Shri Krishna Bhagavan is saying, Arjuna, you are weeping for something that is unreal, asat, temporary. The soul, your real self, is never affected. So be happy about it. Why are you unhappy about something which is temporary, which is going off in any case? So the insight of the seer of this truth is, Shri Bhagavan emphasizes that the conclusion is not merely his personal opinion. He says Tattvadarshibhihi. It is the unanimous understanding of wise sages, Tattvadarshibhihi. Known as Tattvadarshi, knowers of truth, that means Tattvadarshi. They realize through knowledge, contemplation and meditation that, point number 1, consciousness is the unchanging reality. The world of names and forms is constantly changing. This is point number 2. Point number 3, changes cannot belong to what is eternal. Point number 4, therefore, the world is relatively real, mithya, relatively real, not real, relatively real, mithya, and not absolutely real. So it is not sat, it is mithya. This is the same teaching found in Upanishads also. Because Bhagavad Gita is the extract of Upanishads and Vedas. Upanishads say, Brahma is real, the world is appearance. Atma is Brahma, pure consciousness. Now, why this teaching is important for our spiritual growth? First, it removes the fear of death. When we know that when body leaves, we leave the body, we don't die actually. When we know our essence cannot be destroyed, the fear of loss disappears. Point number 2, it removes the attachment. When you realize nothing in the world is permanent, your clinging to it reduces because nothing is permanent. It removes the sorrow. Sorrow arises from losing something temporary. When you accept its nature, sorrow weakens. It builds stability in our mind. Understanding the unchanging self brings inner grounding, stable, because I am not going to go. I am here only. Body, I may change, yes, possible. But I am not going to go anywhere unless I become one with the God. So it leads to self-realization. The devotee, the seeker, begins to differentiate self from the body, mind, senses. This separation is the beginning of liberation. This separation of mind, body, senses and self is the beginning of moksha. Now, what is the practical examples of this in our day-to-day life? We see the ocean. We are standing at the seashore. We are watching the waves in the ocean. Waves rise and waves fall, constantly changing. Asat. The ocean, the essence remains the same. Waves unreal, asat, temporary. The ocean is real, sat, lasting. Similarly, the mind and body are waves, and the consciousness is the ocean. So mind and body are waves, asat, consciousness like ocean, permanent, lasting, sat. Second example, the movie screen. On the movie screen, scenes appear and disappear on that screen, isn't it? When we are watching a movie, the screen remains unchanged. If somebody dancing, the screen dancing, the screen remains same. The scenes are unreal compared to the screen because they are changing. Life's events are like scenes. Life events are like scenes. The Atma is the screen, which is not changing. Third example, the dream world. In a dream, everything appears real, isn't it? But when we wake up, nothing was real. It was dream. Yet something was real. Though it was dream, something was real. What was real? The consciousness that saw the dream was real, isn't it? That's why remember the dream, no? Our consciousness saw the dream. So consciousness is real. The dream was unreal. Similarly, waking life is also ever changing. The seer, the Atma is real. How do we apply this knowledge in our day-to-day life? This shlok is not merely philosophical, it transforms how we live our life. How do we apply it? In relationships, we see others as soul temporarily bearing bodies. So instead of seeing their bodies, you see them as souls temporarily bearing the bodies. This reduces the conflict, the hatred, and the ego. In success and failure in life, we understand that both are temporary waves. Agama Paino. You become more stable and less reactive because you know this is temporary. In emotional life, when emotions come and go, you remind yourself these are changes in mind and not in me. The changes are taking place in the mind, not in me. In stressful situations, we anchor ourselves in as unchanging observer. This brings calmness and clarity. In suffering, we remember rather, when we understand this look very well, that what is changing is not the real me. Situations change. Am I that situation? No. This attitude provides enormous inner strength. Now, a deeper metaphysical insight of this shloka, Shri Bhagavan is also resolving an age-old philosophical question. What is the question? Is the world real or unreal? जगत मिथ्या है कि रियल है? क्या है जगत? Vedanta gives a precise answer to this, whether the world is real or unreal. It says the world is not absolutely real because it changes. It is not absolutely unreal because we experience it. How can we say it is unreal when we are experiencing it day in and day out? So it is not absolutely real and it is not absolutely unreal. That is the real definition of our Jagat, our Samsar. It is relatively real. And relatively real is called Mithya. Relatively real. Only the self, absolute, is absolutely real. This shloka forms the foundation of many spiritual philosophies, including Advaita Vedanta. So the summary of this great shloka is body and world are temporary. Asat. Soul is eternal and unchanging. Sat. Wise people clearly distinguish between the two. What is Sat and what is Asat? Distinguishing them end fear, sorrow, and delusion. This understanding prepares Arjuna and all the seekers for the path of self-realization. So this is an important lesson in the path of self-realization. Continuing with the next shloka. Avinashu tadviddhi sarvamidam tatam vinashamavyasyasya nakaschit kartumarhati. That which is all pervasive, which pervades all, you believe only that to be the eternal and everlasting. No power can destroy the ever-changing eternity. Never-changing eternity. The mind and senses cannot see it because they have not learned the way. The only reality is the soul. It is in all places, all pervading, all situations, in all times, in all forms, in all beings. It pervades everything. How can this therefore be destroyed ever? All that is visible or can be experienced is due to the power of soul. One could ask that if the soul is in all objects, such as human beings, then when the human being die, the soul should also die. It is there in me, no? When I die, the soul should also die. The answer is that the soul does not die. The dying object or the dead objects existed because of the soul, not vice versa. Soul is not depending on body, body is depending on soul. Soul is not an object. The object is due to the soul. The nature of soul is immortality. It cannot die. The nature of object is change is ever changing. Object, our body is ever changing. Ultimate death. When the objects leave, they leave due to their soul. The objects have a destructible constitution, but the soul, because it is eternal and immortal, it always remains. Now the question is, do we know at what moment we will die? Do we know? Now this is an account of a guest house in Varanasi, where people check in. And why do they check in that guest house? Check in to die. It is called Kashi Labha Mukti Bhavan. It is there in Kashi. Rooted in the belief of system of many our Sanatana Dharma is that if one takes last breath in Kashi, one attains the what is popularly known as Kashi Labha. Kashi Labha means the fruit of Kashi. That is moksha, salvation, liberation. This interesting fact about this guest house, what is that? One is allowed to stay there only for 2 weeks. Stay here for 2 weeks and die. If you don't die in 2 weeks, get out. So one has to be really certain about one's death, that in next 2 weeks I am going to die. You should be certain about it. Then only you should check in. Otherwise, after 2 weeks, you will have to check out. If a person still hangs around after 2 weeks, he has to check out. No other way. The author of this article, he says, out of curiosity, I decided to go to Varanasi to understand what those people had learned who had not only accepted death as a reality, but were rather anticipating it with a timer on. Maut kabhi bhi aa sakti hai. And we have come here, got checked in, waiting for the death. So what is their psychology? He wanted to understand. He says, I spent 2 weeks in that guest house and interviewed people who had checked in, waiting for their death. Their life lessons were really thought-provoking for me. In the same environment, I met Mr. Bhairavnath Shukla, who had been the manager of Mukti Bhavan for last 44 years. He had seen more than 12,000 deaths in all these years working there as a manager of that Mukti Bhavan. So he says, I asked him, Mr. Shukla, what is that you have learned after seeing both life and death so closely? People come here, they are alive and waiting for death, and then they are dead. So what do you see? What have you learned from that? Mr. Shukla shared with me 12 life lessons in this regard. But there is one lesson in this series which is his most favorite and which resonated deeply with me. The life lesson is resolve all conflict before you go. Resolve all conflicts before you go. He told me a story to back it. There was a Sanskrit scholar of the times by the name Ram Sagar Mishra. Mishra was one of the eldest of 6 brothers and was closest to his youngest brother. One argument years ago led to a bitter communication between Mishra and his younger brother. This led to a wall, eventually partitioning the house. The family got divided. In his final years, Mishra ji checked in into this Kashi Mukti Bhavan guest house. He told Shukla, the manager of that, to reserve room number 3 for him because he was sure he was going to die within 2 weeks. 13 days passed, he did not die. On 14th day, Mishra ji showed an urge to see his estranged brother of 40 years, his younger brother. He said, this bitterness, it heavies my heart. I want to resolve every conflict before I go. Tomorrow is the last day. Tomorrow I'm going to die definitely. On the 15th day, I'm going to die tomorrow. A letter was, he was called, his younger brother was called, telephoning him. Soon the youngest brother arrived. Mishra ji held his hand, asked him to bring down the wall dividing the house. He asked for his brother's forgiveness. Though he was elder, he apologized to his younger brother, saying that I am sorry for whatever I have done to you. So the mistake was there from both, but he apologized, showing greater heart. Both the brothers wept. And mid-sentence, suddenly, Mishra stopped speaking. His face became calm and he was gone at that moment. Mr. Shukla, the manager of that Kashi Mukti Bhavan, he says, he told me that he had seen the same story repeating over and over again for last many years. He says, I see many people carry such unnecessary baggage throughout their lives. Why they could not resolve this when the situation was good? Why they have to wait till the last moment of their life? Only wanting to drop this heavy baggage at the very end of their journey. Why so? The trick, he said, however, does not lie in having no conflicts at all. Conflicts तो होना ही है. Rather, it lies in resolving every conflict as soon as one has the conflict. One cannot and should not go to bed having an argument, a disappointment, a resentment, or a doubt. One should always try to resolve them at the earliest. Because you see, the good news is that we are alive. But the bad news is that nobody knows for how long we are alive. So resolve your conflicts today without delay, whatever it may be, because tomorrow is not promised to anybody in this world. Therefore, think, is there anything or anyone you would like to make peace with while you still have the time? Or should we wait till the last moment of our life when we may get the opportunity to resolve, or we may not get the opportunity to resolve? Mishraji was lucky that his younger brother could come before his death and he could resolve the conflict. Everybody may not be so lucky also. When we have the bitter experiences with someone, it is only when we forgive that emotional burden will be removed from our own mind. We carry that burden. When we close that conflict, our burden becomes less. We feel light. Okay, next sloka. Antavantaive deha nityasukta sharirinaha anashino prameyasya tasmad yuddhasva bharata. The body is mortal. Antavantaive deha. But who dwells in the body is said to be immortal and immeasurable. Therefore, O Bharata, that is, O Krishna, Arjuna, fight in this battle. Tasmad yuddhasva bharata. This body of ours will come to an end, but we, the Atma, are eternal. The body is changing from moment to moment. And even the few minutes when we are discussing this concept of body, we have moved closer to the great change called death. Every moment we are going closer to the death, isn't it? The mind is subject to even more rapid changes than the body. We have only to look at our desires and our moods to see how much our mind is subject to change. How many thoughts come to our mind in 1 minute? We have to just observe our own mind and our own thoughts. Whenever we cling to something which is continuously changing, we will become more and more insecure with the passage of time. When we identify ourselves excessively with the body, every morning begins with a pose of threat that we are getting older and older day by day. The black circles are coming below the eyes. Every morning we look in the mirror to see if there are wrinkles on the face, black circles, bags under the eyes, or grey showing hair. The paradox of our life is when we cling to the body, it loses its beauty. But when we do not cling to it, use the body as an instrument to serve others, even at physical level, it glows with health and beauty. As we see from life of many mystics, including our own Pujya Swamiji, can a normal human being who is living normal life like us, who is clinging excessively to his body, can be so active physically at the age of 77 now? Swamiji is 77. When he sits down on the floor, he can get up without supporting the floor with his hands. How many of people of that age can do that? He's still so radiant. Because he has gone beyond his I am body feeling. The body is the temple, of course, yes. Body is the temple of Lord and must be looked with care. This temple has to be broomed every day. उसको झाड़ू लगाना पड़ता है रोज, with mantra chanting and reading of Bhagavad Gita or Vishnu Sahasranam, and both. Purified through daily practice of meditation and restraint of senses. We show the respect for Lord within us by keeping the body healthy, clean, and beautiful. Any attempt to misuse the body or to indulge in excessive senses at the expense of body is a violation of the divine presence of God in us. And as far as our eating habits are concerned, we must be vigilant to see we are not indulging in the senses at the cost of health of our body or mind. Even those who are making good progress on their spiritual path, the senses can play a havoc if vigilance is relaxed. In order to transform our belief that we are the changing body to the identification of Atma, we begin by governing the senses very carefully for many years. This is not from the role of a yogi, but we give our body what is needed to sustain it as a spiritual instrument. Even if we are not yogi, we want to read Gita for many years. We want to read Vishnu Sahasranam many years. We want to offer our seva for many years. So for that, we should have a good body. At least from that point of view, we should maintain a good body, healthy body. Just as we purify our gross body by taking shower and all that, this is our sthul sharir, what we beautify with shower every day. We are vigilant. We take care of our senses, healthy physical exercise, we do repetition of mantras, we purify the. How do we purify our sukshma sharir? Gross body cleaning, physical cleaning, very good. Anybody can do it. But we need to cleanse our sukshma sharir, our subtle body also. We have seen how subtle body is more important than the sthul sharir. How do we do it? Repetition of mantras, mantra japa. We purify the subtle body. By cultivating healthy thoughts, we purify the sukshma sharir. We have seen in previous discussion how important our sukshma sharir is. And our thoughts are the food of our subtle body, of sanskars. Our mental and emotional conditioning is our thoughts. We are eating this food at all time. And every time a thought arises in the mind, we have added to either the nutrition of subtle body or to its malnutrition. So our thoughts is a food to Sukshma Sharir. If the thought is good, Sattvic, the Sukshma Sharir gets more strong. The sanskars becomes more pious. But if the thoughts are bad, Rajasi or Tamasi, the Sukshma Sharir becomes weak. It goes under malnutrition. The unhealthy effect of the mind of anger, resentment, and hostility is so great that it can cause far-reaching damage even on our physical body. Sukshma Sharir to hota hi hai, but the physical body as well. To keep the subtle body pure and healthy, we must and foremost cultivate the virtue of forgiveness. We carry the burden, we saw in the last story, that we should forgive and close the conflicts. The point that Shri Krishna Bhagavan is explaining to Arjuna is that man is the soul and not the body. Soul is nitya, means always the same. It does not act. And when it does not act, obviously, it is not committing any sin. But the sin will not accrue only when Arjuna is able to experience the soul, but only when his delusion will end. His delusion should end. Attachment and grief are only as long as we are at the level of body consciousness. We feel ourselves to be the doer when we are at body conscious. The central idea is that Arjuna should fight with the equanimity of mind. That means not for motive, but for the duty. Fight not for vindictiveness, but for the call of duty to uphold dharma, which will break the fetters of bondage. Next shloka. Yeno vetti hantare yaschainam manyate hatam ubhaudao na vijanito nayam hanti na hanyate. Those who say that they can slay the Atma, they can kill the Atma, and those who think that Atma is slayer, Atma is killing someone, both are ignorant. Both of them don't understand. They don't understand the reality that Atma never kills nor can be killed. Na hanyate hanyamani. So here the central idea is that unless a person becomes soul conscious, he or she will remain at the mercy of universal delusion of believing oneself to be the killer or the killed, the sinner or the sinned against. The real man, woman, soul being above gender, we can say this is applicable to man or woman. Soul is same for both, no? Is neither the killer nor the killed, because this life is like 100 years long dream. In dream we kill and get killed, but on waking up we feel so delighted that it was all a dream and not a reality. Similar is the experience of the enlightened person. This shloka is to lay off Arjuna's impression that by killing Bhishmacharya and Dronacharya, he will incur sin. We should understand the context of shloka and the background when we try to apply it in the life. This shloka does not mean that we should start killing anybody and everybody. The context, the background is more important to understand. The Lord says that the soul is neither a killer nor subject to be killed. So the power which cannot kill and cannot be killed, how the sin will visit that? The ignorant man who lives only in body consciousness, believes himself to be the killer, because he is strongly wedded to this concept that I am the body, which is a pure delusion, God says. But this delusion is most difficult to shed. To come out of body feeling is not so easy. No book reading can help to come out of this I am body feeling. Spiritual sadhana is the only way out. Now, what is that determine how long it will take to reach this spiritual awareness, this goal of our life? We have to start moving, no? But how long it will take to reach to that destination that we have in mind? Once a saint was sitting at the side of a road when a passerby came and asked him about some address. He showed him a piece of paper and asked, "Sir, could you please tell me how far away is this place?" Trying to manage his two huge suitcases in his both hands, he further asked, "How long will it take to reach there?" The saint did not say anything. He got up, gestured the man to continue on his way, follow him, started walking along with him. The man was surprised and was little frightened at the saint's strange behavior. पत्ता पूछा और ये चलने लगे मेरे साथ, बोले मेरे साथ आओ. I did not ask him to come with me. I just wanted to know the address and how long it will take to reach there. He said to the saint, "Please do not trouble yourself, sir. All I want to know was the distance and how long I will take to reach there. I can go there on my own. You don't have to trouble yourself for that." Still the saint said nothing. He continued to walk with that man. After 15 minutes, he stopped and said, "It will take 2 hours for you to reach that place." The man said, "You could have told this to me. Then we started from there. Why you have to walk for 15 minutes and tell me now that it will take 2 hours for me to reach that destination? There is no need for you to walk along with you for nearly a mile." The saint replied, "How could I estimate the time without knowing your speed of walking? The time to cover the distance is not decided by its length, but by the speed of the walker. You are carrying these two huge suitcases along with you, so it becomes obvious that your speed will be slow. Now, after I have walked with you for 15 minutes, I can tell you that it will take you 2 hours to reach that destination where you want to go." Saying this, the saint carried on his journey. The traveler thanked the saint, kept looking at him for some time as if he had shown him the right time for reaching his life's goal, not only that destination physically, but his life's goal. Everything depends on our speed. Our speed depends on our condition. We can run and we will arrive sooner. We can waddle around, but in that case, our time of travel will be longer. Our speed can also be such that we can reach destination immediately. This applies to our inner journey, self-realization. The real goal of our life is self-realization. And we should consider this as a journey towards that self-realization. We are the passerby having two huge suitcases with us, one full of past experiences and one full of future expectations. With these two heavy bags, we travel on that path. Once we are freed from these burdens of past and future and start living in the present, our journey of life accelerates with enthusiasm and joy. And as we put our best effort with utmost yearning and craving, then we can reach the goal here and now. If one man runs to the destination and the other walks to the destination, same destination, what is the difference? Both will reach. One will save the time, other will spend the time. Normally when we are traveling, we say travel light. Don't carry too much of baggage. But this travel light slogan of airlines is applicable for our spiritual journey as well. Travel light. Don't carry the baggages with you of your past samskars and future expectations. Okay, next wonderful sloka coming, slok 20. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन्नायं भूत्वा भविता न भूयः अजो नित्यशाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. We were never born. We will never die. We have never undergone change. We will never undergo change. Unborn, eternal, immutable, immemorial. We do not die when our body dies. Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā continues to explain our real nature in this shloka. Na jayate. We were never born. Na mriyate. Therefore, we will never die. Na ayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya. We will never undergo any change. Aja, never born. Nitya, eternal, Shashvat. Shashvat is immutable. And finally, with a tinge of little humor, the Lord says, Purana. We are all this, but you are Purana also. You are very ancient, old. We are ancient. How much? Compared to Himalayas, compared to us, the Himalaya is like a newborn baby. That much old we are. When the world was not, when the galaxies were not, we were having a grey beard like I have. We are that old. The play of the Lord in which he assumes a body and seems to pass through childhood, youth and old age is beautifully portrayed in Kerala, in Guruvayur temple, dedicated to Lord Krishna. Shri Krishna Bhagavan is worshipped there in three different forms during 3 periods of the day. In the morning, if you go to the temple, Guruvayur temple, you will see little baby Krishna, Bala Krishna, in a cradle being fed, bathed and sung to sleep. जैसे बच्चों को सुलाते हैं छोटे. Most children are to go for this morning service to Lord Krishna. They see that the Lord is even younger than what they are. And they have such compassion for Lord Krishna and feel so protective that they do not want any harm to come to the little Bal Krishna. This protective feeling for gods is a very good discipline for spiritual awareness right from childhood. At noon, Shri Krishna is a young man, straight as a palm tree, outgoing and very vigorous. You see Lord Krishna as the embodiment of physical fitness in the afternoon at his best. You see the Lord Krishna with a peak of feather, the garland of wild flowers, the yellow silk dhoti and the bamboo flute in his hand. Young people like to visit temple in the noon, when it is easy to identify them with the beloved Lord Krishna that they see. In the evening, when the sun is about to set, the old people like to go and see the Lord Krishna, who is hardly able to stand up. He is ready to shed the body. The different images serve to remind you that these are all the changes which affect not only the body of human beings, but even the God undergoes these changes. When it takes human manifestation, he also undergoes these changes in the body. Shri Krishna Bhagavan at the age of 8 and Sri Krishna Bhagavan at the age of 125 when the Mahabharata war took place, physically they were same, 80-year-old and 125-year-old. That means even the God's body changes. But does the God change? No, God does not change. It is same with you and me. Our body change. Our souls never change. God is therefore asking us to rise above the physical level so that we do not get caught in the cycle of change. And we don't keep mourning, oh, I am old, I am sick, I am dying. God says you are much beyond that. Next sloka. Veda vinashina nityaya enamajavyam kadam zavarshah partha kanghatayati antikam. Partha, a person who knows his soul is indestructible, eternal, birthless, and beyond change, how can he kill or cause another to kill? Atma cannot be divided, which means the Atma is one. Jiva is manifold, multiple, billion, trillions in numbers. But does it mean that there are billions and trillions of Atmas residing in these billions and trillions of Jivas? No. Atma is singular, indivisible. That is its nature. One who knows for certain that universality and immortality of the soul and unreality of the body, Sat and Asat, what we discussed some time back, how can he kill anybody? Because there is nobody to kill. All are souls. Whom will you kill? Pure being a soul cannot be killed. This is akin to asking someone to kill the illusory snake in the rope. But remember, you can either see the snake or the rope at any given moment. You cannot see both of them simultaneously. You can say either this is rope or this is snake. How can you say this is snake both, rope and snake both? Either you see the illusion or you see the reality. So whoever knows that Atma is indestructible knows that he cannot kill or destroy that which is the truth. So who can kill whom? Kaun kisko marega? Both are indestructible. But this realization is not there when the man is at the level of mind and sense consciousness. This realization comes when you are at the soul consciousness. For this realization, the soul consciousness is necessary. It is for this reason that Lord Shri Krishna wants to enlighten Arjuna, who requested Lord Shri Krishna for enlightenment. Let us continue with the next sloka, slok 22. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grannati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirna nyanyani sanyati navani dehi. As we abandon worn out clothes, vasansi jirnani, and acquire new ones, navani grannati, so when the body is worn out, a new one is acquired by the self who lives within. Tatha sharirani vihaya jirna nyanyani sanyati navani dehi. Vasansi jirnani means worn out clothes. In those times, people owned few clothes, only as much as was essential. Unlike the modern times when we keep buying on every visit to the mall, people had limited possessions. They did not indulge in hoarding that time. Possessing more than required is a sign of greed. But we are all greedy today. In my childhood, I remember I used to have only 3-4 pants and 3-4 shirts. Today, children have maybe 10 times more than that. Possessing object just for the sake of ownership is a malady of modern man and women. People are obsessed with amassing wealth, hoarding objects. How much wealth is required for 2 square meals a day? And even those who have enough to have feast every day are still running and amassing wealth. People even at the age of 70, 80 still do not want to hand over their business to their children. They want to still cling to it. In this shloka, Shri Bhagavan Krishna says that just as worn out clothes are discarded and you put on new garments, likewise, when your body gets old and worn out, it gets discarded and a new body is acquired. How happy we are to get new clothes? Yes, we are happy. That is why you give away new clothes to the needy. Similarly, when your body ages, gets worn out, Prakriti takes away the old body and in due course of time gives you a new body. Now we may say that this is all right for old worn out bodies getting discarded. Bhishmacharya old, Dronacharya old, Kripacharya old. But the likes of Duryodhana, Dushasana, Karna, they were all young and healthy. So why was an attempt made to take away their bodies by waging a war against them? They were not Vasashi Jirnani. They were still young and healthy. Weapons do not discriminate between old and young, between weak and strong. Yes, anyone can get killed in the war. Here, there was a reason behind taking away the bodies of likes of Duryodhana and Dushasana and all that. When a part of body, say a finger or a toe, or indeed the entire hand or entire leg gets damaged or infected, as it happens in gangrene, the doctors has no option but to cut off that part of body. Otherwise, the infection can spread and the whole body may die. So they cut off that part of the body. Similarly, the minds of the likes of Duryodhana had become so diseased that there was no alternative but to take away that diseased mind. And hence the body has it intricately linked with the mind. Can you take out the mind only from the body? Not possible, no? So to take away mind is possible only when take away the body. Shri Krishna Bhagavan had tried on many occasions to instill some sense in Duryodhana. Don't fight, Baba, yuddha mat karo. But each time Duryodhana had failed to understand. Neither Karna understood. Bhishma, Dronacharya, Kripacharya were also bound by their obligation to Duryodhana and to Hastinapur. So they had no choice but to go along with him. Had Duryodhana give up his obstinacy, or had Karna made some efforts to convince him, this war would not have happened. When Duryodhana heard that Shri Krishna was coming as a messenger of peace, he got so angry. He got so angry that he asked his guard to arrest Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna Bhagavan ko arrest kar lo. He did not believe he is Bhagavan. Krishna ko arrest kar lo. But when Shri Krishna was Krishna, Bhagavan Krishna, Lord of Maya, he cast such a spell on the soldiers of Duryodhana that they could not see him. All they could see was a ball of ethereal light. Oh, they call it only light, nothing else. So that is Maya of Lord Krishna. But the point is, Vasamshi Jirnani Yatha Vihaya Navani Unnati Naroparani Tatha Sharani Vihaya Jirna Nyanyana Singati Navani Dehi. Next. Nainai Jandanti Shastrani Nainandhati Pavakaha Nachainam Kledayantiapo Nashoshayati Marutaha. Atma can neither be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor can it be scorched by fire, neither dampened by water or desiccated by wind. So who and what are we worrying for? Rebirth is inevitable. The vast number of desires lurking in our mind will propel us into another birth. And that is undebatable, absolutely incontroversial. The force of all of our worldly desires will ensure that we are born again to fulfill those desires. Furthermore, the desires can also be of spiritual evolution. That be it the desire of yoga, awakening Kundali, attaining Samadhi, desire to become a devotee, desire to fully understand Vedanta. After all, is it possible in one lifetime? We have to take few more births. Here Bhagavad-Gītā says that body will not be discarded, body will be discarded, but no problem, you will get a new body. Now, we may think that it is reassuring that we will have a new body, but what about our intellect? Itna so padaya, buddhi mein jama kiya, what happens to that? Everything becomes zero or what? We'll have to the same level of intellect which we have developed in our spiritual sadhana in this life. The answer to this is simple. A simple example. See, you have been painting a picture, for example. After a while, you get tired. The painting is not yet finished, but you are so tired that you need some rest, some sleep. So you go to sleep for a few hours. When you wake up refreshed and get back hurriedly to finish your painting, will you commence where you had left, or will you take a new blank canvas and start all over again? Obviously, you will pick up from where you have left, isn't it? To complete that incomplete painting. Likewise, at whatever stage of spiritual evolution your body got discarded, you will commence your spiritual growth in the next birth. From that point, it was halted by the death of your gross body. If you have climbed 2 steps on the ladder of spiritual sadhana, you will start from step number 3 onwards and not from 0 in the next life. We discuss this guarantee from Paramatma even when we were discussing Adhyaya 6th, Atma Sanyam Yoga. However, it does take some time for previous sanskars to awaken. It does not happen immediately after birth. It takes some time for sanskars to get awakened. This explains how sometimes we see even child meditating, child saying Geeta. Also, one thing is certain, that sadhak will never be born into such a family where he does not have an environment conducive for spiritual upliftment. He will not be born in a family where indulgence in liquor or womanizing is a normal way of life. If this life is full of spiritual sadhana, you won't get birth in that kind of family in the next life. In fact, Geeta vouches that the seeker shall always be born in a righteous, spiritually inclined family. This is explained in detail in Adhyaya 6. Death is the nature of body. Hence, don't worry about it. It is identification with the body which is the reason why we regard death body as our own death. After reading so many shlokas about our soul, we should have no confusion about it now. And as long as we regard the body as our own identity, we will be unable to experience the meaning of these shlokas, what we have read about soul in this Adhyaya, which says that the death cannot touch you. Really, you are a Atma which is indestructible, immortal, eternal. So this shloka also is commonly read in Hindu families whenever there is a death in the family. A Pandit is called and he reads the death related shlokas that we have read in this Adhyaya. Also in 8th Adhyaya there are shlokas. This means that these shlokas are read only at the time of somebody's death, not otherwise, generally. Moreover, who listens to Pandit's recitation when he is reading these shlokas? The dead body? No, he cannot listen, no? Relatives? No, relatives are gripped by such intense grief that they are in no state of mind to listen anything. The guests who have come, they are busy gossiping about material life. Nobody is worried about the dead. They have their own business to discuss. Who is paying attention to what Pandit is saying? Shri Krishna is asking Arjuna who he is worried for. And we should ask also ourselves, who are we worried about? Our friends and relatives' bodies or our own bodies? Well, these bodies are going to die anyway. They are asat, they are going to die anyway. That is inevitable. And as far as you are concerned, the soul is concerned, there is nothing to worry. Because you, the soul, is immortal, eternal, everlasting, and indestructible. So why to worry then? Something which is going to go, body, you cannot stop it. So why to worry? And something which is not going to go away, Atma, that you really are, then why do you worry? We'll take one more shloka and close the session for the day. Achedyo yamadayo yam aklidyo shosha evacho nityasarvadasthanunachalo yam sanatanaha. The Atma cannot be pierced or cleaved. It cannot be burnt. It cannot be wetted. And it cannot be dried either. This Atma is eternal, immortal, everlasting, all-pervading, and always the same. Atma is impenetrable. Even if you pierce a knife, someone suppose he pierces a knife in our body, know that it is not penetrating in you, in your soul, it is penetrating in your body. But still, we'll be able to remember this knowledge at such trying moments when the body is in intense pain. Is it easy to bear somebody's piercing the body with a knife? Very difficult. You cannot remember this shloka. Because as long as there is attachment to the body, you will be unable to apply this knowledge in day-to-day life. That is why just reading or listening of these shlokas is not enough. Meditate, meditate, and meditate even more, so that you will get the experience of being separate from the body. You need to practically experience the theoretical knowledge given by Lord Krishna in this adhyaya or in any adhyayas of Bhagavad Gita. And meditation is the best way to absorb what we are hearing, making it as our innate nature. Then the difference between Atma and body becomes distinctly clear. The body is destructible, penetratable, but Atma is indestructible, insoluble, unbreakable. It can neither be burned or cannot be dried also. Atma is free of all afflictions. Of all these maladies, these are limited to mind. There are 5 mental afflictions: Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha, Parigraha, and Avidya. Raga is commonly taken as an attachment, Anuraga, Asakti. But it means much more than that. It means that you have forgotten your real identity. That is Rag, Anurag. And you hold on to your body tightly, saying that this is I. And everything and everyone related to this body is mine. This is that Asakti. This is that Anurag. This clinging to your own body so very tightly is Anurag, is Rag. You are attached to anyone? No, you are attached to only your body. And anyone related to your body. Dvesha literally means aversion, revulsion. But if we go deeper into this meaning of Dvesha, Dvesha means running away from your your own self. That is Dvesh. You get close to what you are not and run away from what you really are. That is Dvesh. That is Rag and Dvesh in you yourself. Abhinivesh is the desire to live, and Parigraha is the tendency to hoard, to accumulate, to amass more and more is Parigraha. And the 5th mental application is Avidya. That is the subtlest and progenitor, root cause of all other mental afflictions. Avidya, that is Ajnana. Presence of Avidya, that means ignorance, leads to attachment, aversion, hoarding, and desire to live. When you really start experiencing after years of meditation that you are not body, you are not body, you are not body, and irrespective of whether the body lives or dies, there is no change in my essential nature because I am Atma. Then will there be any desire to live? I mean, for body. The enlightened one is neither elated with the prospect of living for hundreds of years, nor distressed if his body were to drop dead next moment. Because he knows that what is born is dies. And what is born is body, and what is dying is also body. Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā says that not only is this Atma immortal, eternal, but also all-pervasive and indivisible. Jiva keeps wandering, driven by anger, lust, greed, and whatnot. Atma is steadfast, steadfastly established, unmoving, has neither birth nor death, neither merit nor demerit, heaven or hell, coming or going. No, all this is not applicable to Atma. Now, to understand this shloka, let us discuss a small anecdote and close the session for the day. In a small town, there lived a wise old teacher. His name was Master Dev, known for his calmness and depth of understanding. One of his students, his name was Raghav, was brilliant but extremely sensitive. Even a small criticism would disturb him, and any praise would make him overly excited. His mind was constantly swinging between emotional highs and emotional lows. One day, after facing harsh comments from his colleagues, Raghav stormed into his teacher's home. Master, people cut my heart with their words. Chintanti Shastrani, I feel burned by their anger. I feel drenched in disappointment, and I feel dried by loneliness. So all the things what we read in this shloka, he says, are applicable to me. I am dying. Why am I so affected? Why do others have so much power over my peace of mind? Their words, their anger, everything I am getting. Master Dev listened quietly, and then he handed him a sealed letter. Take this letter. He gave that letter in an envelope and said, burn this. Confused but obedient, Raghava lit a match and set fire to that envelope. It quickly turned into ashes, that envelope. But the master pointed out at the inert sheet inside. Take out that. In that envelope, there was one small envelope made of steel, which could not be burned by the matchstick. In that, the paper was there. Take out that paper. Raghav picked the paper, untouched by the flames. How is it possible? He asked with surprise. Master Dev smiled and said, because the letter was written with the fireproof ink and in that fire-resistant material put in that. The fire that burned the outside envelope could not touch the message inside. He paused and explained, life is like fire. People's words, insults, angers, these are like the flames. They burn only what is external. Our ego, our expectations, our false image of ourselves. Then he pointed out to Raghava's chest. But the real you, the Atma, the witness of everything cannot be burnt. Like in that sealed envelope, bounded or destroyed. It cannot be. Your consciousness is fireproof, weapon-proof, waterproof, grief-proof. Raghav softly asked, so I am not the one who gets hurt? Raghav, his master said, you feel wounded because you identify with the envelope. You are something that is there inside that envelope, which did not burn with the flames. But you are considering yourself as an envelope. That's why you are thinking you are burnt. You are wounded. Shift your identity to the inner letter that is there in that envelope, which did not burn. And not the worldly flames, which burned the outside envelope. Raghav looked at the unburnt sheet with new understanding now. So the soul is always safe. Always, his master said. That is what Shri Krishna teaches in second Adhyaya. The self cannot be cut by weapons, burned by fire, moistened by the water, or dried by the wind. Therefore, rise above the fragile envelope of the body and mind and rest in the inner self, which is free, untouchable, and eternal. Raghava, he walked home, he felt very light. The world had not changed, but his understanding had changed. So this shloka describes the indestructible nature of our soul, our Atma, that it cannot be cut, like the fireproof letter cannot be torn by flames. It cannot be burnt, symbolized by the paper, remaining untouched in the fire. It cannot be wetted or dried, the metaphor for being beyond emotional distortion. The self is eternal, unaffected by the external world. This anecdote makes this abstract truth relatable by showing how the inner self remains intact despite the fires of life, criticism, anger, loss, or fear. It cannot destroy that inside envelope, which is our soul. External, yes, it gets burnt, it gets destroyed like our body. But the inner one is imperishable, it never burns. Okay, we stop here. We'll continue in the next session. Thank you so much for your patience. Jai Shri Krishna to all. Jai Shri Krishna.
As we conclude today's discourse, we reflect on Bhagwan Shri Krishna's guidance about the eternal soul and the freedom that comes from detachment. With sincere gratitude, I thank you, respected Vikas ji Vaidya Bhaiya, for illuminating this profound teaching and enriching our understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Our celebration of Geeta Jayanti gives us the opportunity to give our humble seva to Bhagavan by organizing various events like the Parayana, Shobha Yatra, or various competitions regarding Geeta Ji in our locality. The Geeta Jayanti portal, which is geetajayanti.com, is open, so please go and register yourself as soon as possible. You too can also give your selfless seva at the feet of Bhagwan through Geeta Pariwar's Aao Geeta Sevi Bane program. Multiple sessions in 5 languages are being held over this weekend and next weekend. The details of the sessions will be available in your participants groups in WhatsApp. We now request sadhaks to please raise their hands and if possible, switch on their video cameras to ask questions to Vikas Bhaiya ji. Request those who are watching this session through YouTube to please join the Zoom link should they wish to have their doubts clarified. I think we have the first question from Kamla Gautam ji Bhaiya.
Yes, please.
Please, yes, Didi. Didi, you're not audible.
हेलो
Yes, you're audible
Yes,
now.
Kamla ji.
एक्सेलेंट एक्सप्लेनेशन, बहुत बहुत अद्भुत विवेचन आपका। इसके लिए मैं आपको सादर नमन करती हूँ। सभी को जय श्री कृष्णा बोलते हुए 2 प्रश्न पूछूंगी।
जी
हिंदी में पूछ रही हूँ मैं।
जी जी।
भैया, मोक्ष क्यों चाहिए?
मोक्ष क्यों चाहिए?
चाहिए?
ओके। और
जी।
दूसरा?
और दूसरा है कि अर्जुन को उर्वशी ने जो श्राप दिया था, क्यों दिया था?
ओके, पहले मोक्ष क्यों चाहिए?
जी जी।
मोक्ष इसलिए चाहिए कि मोक्ष हमको परमात्मा से मिलाता है। हम और परमात्मा एक हो जाते हैं और फिर इस जीवन हम जब 13वां अध्याय पढ़ेंगे तब हम इतना समझ लेते हैं कि जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि दुख दोषानुदर्शनम। जन्म भी दुख है, जीवन दुख है, हमारे चाइल्ड एज वो दुख है, यंग एज दुख है, ओल्ड एज तो दुख है ही है, जब रोग हो जाता है तब दुख है, और मरण तो दुख है ही। तो ये जो जीवन है ये सब दुखों से भरा हुआ है और परमात्मा ने जो जीवन दिया है इन दुखों को पार करके उनको प्राप्त करने के लिए दिया है। तो ये हमारा टेस्ट है। परमात्मा हमारा एग्जाम ले रहे हैं कि इतनी बार आपको जन्म दिया, आप मेरे पास कब आते हैं, देखता हूं मैं। तो यदि हमने मोक्ष प्राप्त कर लिया तो हम परमात्मा स्वरूप हो जाते हैं, परमात्मा का रूप हो जाते हैं, परमात्मा में एक रूप हो जाते हैं। फिर जन्म मृत्यु नहीं वर्तनते, फिर आने का सवाल ही नहीं। फिर तो यदि इस दुख भरी जिंदगी से हमेशा के लिए छुटकारा पाना है तो वही एक साधन है मोक्ष प्राप्ति का। मोक्ष प्राप्ति जिन लोगों ने प्राप्त की है वो यहाँ बताने के लिए आते तो नहीं है कि हमको मोक्ष प्राप्ति का क्या आनंद मिल गया है, लेकिन जब हम गीता पढ़ते हैं तो हमको पता पड़ता है कि मोक्ष प्राप्ति मतलब जो विराट रूप में परमात्मा दिखाते हैं 11वें अध्याय में, तो उनके विराट रूप में जब साधु संत सब दिखते हैं वो परमात्मा स्वरूप हो गए हैं सब। तो मोक्ष इसलिए प्राप्त करना है।
बहुत बहुत बढ़िया।
धन्यवाद।
दूसरा क्वेश्चन
मुझे अभी याद नहीं आ रहा उर्वशी का स्टोरी। इफ आई रिमेम्बर नेक्स्ट टाइम आई विल टेल यू। नेक्स्ट टाइम उर्वशी का स्टोरी मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा है।
ओके, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू।
Khushi Ramji, please unmute yourself. खुशी भैया, आपका आवाज आ रहा है भैया।
बोलिए खुशीराम जी।
भैया, हिंदी में पूछ सकता हूँ?
हाँ हाँ जरूर जरूर पूछिए।
हाँ, जय श्री कृष्णा श्रीमान जी।
जय श्री कृष्ण।
मेरा प्रश्न ये है कि सर, जो भारतीय संस्कृति है या जिसे हम सनातन संस्कृति कहें, हमारे जो भी शास्त्र हैं, इनमें कुछ नियमन, आहार विहार, रहन सहन, खान पान का जो नियमन है, इसमें विभिन्नता क्यों है? जैसे हम देखते हैं कि एक तरफ में कुछ लोग हैं, वो लहसुन प्याज को भी नहीं खाते हैं। दूसरी तरफ हमारे कुछ पूजा स्थलों पे मांस और मदिरा भी अर्पण किया जाता है और लोग उसको सेवन करते हैं। दूसरा मेरा यह है कि जो हमारे यहाँ जो भी हमें बताया जा रहा है, क्या वो सनातन सत्य है, सार्वभौमिक सत्य या युग सत्य है? रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन है, जैसे ब्रह्म मुहूर्त काल है, क्या ये भारतीय परिवेश अनुसार इसकी कल्पना की गई है या सारे ब्रह्मांड के लिए ये एप्लीकेबल होगा?
बढ़िया, आपके दोनों सवाल बढ़िया है। तो जो आपने पहले आहार के बारे में पूछा कि हम लोग आहार जो करते हैं, लेकिन कुछ लोग मांस मदिरा भी खाते हैं, तो ये कैसे कैसे सनातन धर्म में कैसे अलाउड है ये? तो जब भगवत गीता पढ़ेंगे तो भगवत गीता के 17वें अध्याय में परमात्मा ने कहा है, आहार सर्वस्य त्रिविधो भवति प्रिया यज्ञ तपस्ता दान तेषाम भेदभेदम शृणु। आहार भी 3 प्रकार का होता है, आयु सत्व बल आरोग्य सुख प्रीति विवर्धना, रस्य स्निग्धा स्थिरा हृदया आहार सात्विक प्रिया। तो ये प्रकार जो है, ये सात्विक लोगों को यह आहार पसंद आता है, जो रस्या है, स्निग्धा है, स्थिरा है और रुद्या मतलब हृदय को बल देने वाला। तो ये एक सात्विक आहार करने वाले लोग हैं। दूसरे है राजसी आहार करने वाले, कट्वम लवनात्युष्ण तीक्ष्ण वृक्ष विदा है ना आहार राजस श्रेष्ठा दुख शोकामय प्रदा। तो राजसी आहार करने वाले भी हैं, जो मसालेदार खाना खाते हैं, वैसे भी लोग हैं। फिर यह तामसी लोग भी हैं, या तो यामंगत संपूति परिशंचेत उच्चिष्ट विजामेद्यम भोजनम तामस प्रियम। उच्चिष्ट खाते हैं, सड़ा हुआ खाना खाते हैं, मांस मदिरा खाते हैं, मांस मच्छी खाते हैं, तो वो तो तामसी लोग हैं। तो ये जो तीनों प्रकार के लोग हैं, इनकी तीनों की जो उनका जो स्वभाव होता है, उनके अनुसार उनकी अन्न की पसंद होती है, खाने की पसंद उनके स्वभाव के अनुसार होती है। तो जो मांस मच्छी खाते हैं वो तामसी स्वभाव के, जो अच्छा खाते हैं रस्या स्निग्धा सिरा हृदया वो सात्विक स्वभाव के, और जो कटमा बलवना तीक्ष्ण तीक्ष्ण विधाय ना वो राजसी स्वभाव के। तो हमारे धर्म में जो कहा गया है, ये संपूर्ण मानव जाति के लिए कहा है, ये सिर्फ सनातन धर्म के लिए गीता नहीं है। गीता में पूरी मानव जाति का जो वर्णन है कि पूरे मानव जाति का ये ऐसा हाल है। कुछ सात्विक होते हैं, कुछ राजसी होते हैं, कुछ तामसिक होते हैं। क्या सात्विक लोग सिर्फ सनातन धर्म में है क्या? बाहर के लोगों में सात्विकता नहीं है क्या? तामसी लोग सिर्फ बाहर हैं, हमारे हमारे सनातन धर्म में तामसी लोग नहीं है? है ना, हमारे में तामसी लोग हैं। तो भगवत गीता का जो उपदेश है, ये संपूर्ण मानव जाति के लिए है, सिर्फ सनातन धर्म के लिए नहीं है। और जो आपने वेदों की बात करी, तो वेदों का उपदेश सिर्फ सनातन धर्म के लिए है, वो मान्य है मुझे। लेकिन उसमें भी फिर ये तीनों प्रकार के लोग आते हैं ना, सात्विक राजसी और तामसी। और हर एक का जैसा भी स्वभाव होता है, उसके स्वभाव के अनुसार उसको उसका अन्न पसंद करता है वो। आप किसी को जो खाता नहीं है, मांस मच्छी खाता नहीं है, उसको गलती से भी खाया उसने, तो कोर्ट केस कर देता है ना वो। या फिर 4 दिन खाना नहीं खाता है वो, इतना उसको पछतावा होता है कि मैंने क्या खा लिया ये। तो ऐसे सात्विक लोग भी हैं हमारे सनातन धर्म में। कुछ लोग सात्विक, कुछ तामसी भी है हमारे सनातन धर्म में, जो रोज मांस मच्छी खाते हैं, उनके बगैर उनको होता ही नहीं है कुछ। तो सब प्रकार के लोग सब जगह होते हैं। धर्म इसके ऊपर बंधन नहीं डालता है, धर्म बंधन डालता है हमारी सोचने की पद्धति के ऊपर। आप खाना खाते हैं, उसके लिए एक अलार्म रेज करते हैं भगवान गीता में, कि ऐसा खाओगे तो ऐसा आपका स्वभाव होगा, मांस मच्छी खाओगे तो ऐसा होगा, सात्विक आहार करोगे तो ऐसा होगा। लेकिन भगवत गीता जो मुख्य उद्देश्य है, वो खाना पीना के ऊपर नहीं है, आपका सोचने का तरीका क्या है उसके ऊपर है। आप सात्विक सोच के हैं क्या? आप राजसी सोच के हैं क्या? आप तामसी सोच के हैं क्या? आपकी सोच को बदलना ही गीता का मुख्य उद्देश्य है। आपका खाना पीना बदलना आपको उसका मुख्य उद्देश्य नहीं है, वो तो उसका बाय प्रोडक्ट है। बदल गया आपका खाना पीना तो अच्छी बात है, नहीं बदलना तो भी यदि आपकी सोच बदल गई तो भी आपको गीता समझ में आ गई। तो गीता का मुख्य उद्देश्य ये है, हमारी सोच बदलना और उसको सोच को सात्विक रखना, चाहे हमारा खाना सात्विक हो या नहीं हो। आज सात्विक खाना कौन खाता है? सबको राजसी खाना खाते हैं ना, सबको मसालेदार खाना पसंद है आजकल। तो कोई खाता है क्या ऐसा सात्विक भूत? सबको जो राजसी खाना या तामसी खाना पसंद होता है। तो भगवत गीता उसमें ज़्यादा डिटेल में जी जाती नहीं, वो सिर्फ उसके परिणाम बताती है। लेकिन आपका विचार क्या है, आपकी बुद्धि कैसी है, आपके कर्म कैसे हैं, उसके और गीता का ज़्यादा जोर है, तो वो हमको समझना चाहिए। ठीक है।
हाँ सर, बढ़िया लगा मुझे। आज मुझे समझ में आ गया कि जिस प्रकार यम नियम हिंदू संस्कृति के मूल स्तंभ हैं, हम उससे कंफ्यूज ना हो। गीता का एक अपना उद्देश्य है कि
जरूर,
सोच
एकदम
बदलना।
बराबर, सोच बदलना,
और,
कर्म
और
बदलना, सोच।
यस, गीता जो प्रवृत्ति है व्यक्ति की उसको इंगित करती है, ना कि
हाँ
गीता निर्धारण करती है क्या खाना है।
हाँ, सही बात, सही बात।
दूसरा सर प्रश्न ये था, जैसे ब्रह्म मुहूर्त काल है, अगर
हम्म
हम इसको वैज्ञानिकता पे देखते हैं, डॉक्टर
हम्म
कई बार एडवाइज करता है कि बुजुर्ग लोग हैं, ज्यादा जल्दी मत उठो, ऑक्सीजन की मात्रा कम होती है जब तक सूरज नहीं निकलता है, तो
हम्म
आपके लिए प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है सांस लेने में। या
हम्म
सपोज हम करें उत्तरी ध्रुव या दक्षिणी ध्रुव, जहां पे
हम्म
ब्रह्म मुहूर्त काल का पालन नहीं हो सकता है, तो इस
हम्म।
बारे में सर आप थोड़े से आशीर्वचन।
देखिए, ऐसा है कि हमारे जो सनातन धर्म है, और हम इंडिया की बात करेंगे, भारतवर्ष की बात करेंगे, हमारे ये जब सुबह का समय होता है 3 से 5 बजे तक का समय, ये ब्रह्म काल कहा जाता है। तो इस काल में जो हम साधना करते हैं, वो साधना सबसे श्रेष्ठ साधना है, 3 बजे से 5 बजे तक। तो ब्रह्म मुहूर्त के ऊपर मेडिटेशन के लिए बैठना या साधना करना किसी प्रकार की, थोड़ी देर प्राणायाम करिए, कपालभाति करिए, भस्त्रिका करिए, अनुलोम विलोम करिए, नाड़ी शोधन करिए, और ध्यान के लिए बैठिए। तो ये जो ब्रह्मकाल की साधना है, ये सर्वश्रेष्ठ है। उसमें यदि आप बीमार है, फिजिकली आप फिट नहीं है, तो बात अलग है। लेकिन फिजिकली यदि आप फिट हैं, यदि आप उठ सकते हैं, तो इस समय उठना चाहिए। 3 बजे नहीं उठे तो ठीक है, 4:30 बजे उठिए, 5 बजे उठिए, 5 बजे उठ के किए तो भी ठीक है। तो ब्रह्मकाल का जो महत्व है वो हमको समझना चाहिए, और ये आदत का विषय है। आदमी बीमार भी हो ना, तो भी उसको एक बार आदत लग जाए कि सुबह 5 बजे उठ के 10 मिनट, आधा घंटा, 1 घंटा मैं ध्यान में लगाऊंगा, तो उसकी आदत हो जाती है वो। उसके लिए बीमारी बीच में नहीं आती। फिर मन कितना आपका स्ट्रांग है उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है वो। और यदि आप ये साधना करने की आदत लग जाए, तो मन के साथ साथ शरीर भी सुदृढ़ होने लगता है। जब प्राणायाम और साधना करते हैं, मेडिटेशन करते हैं, तो मन तो शुद्ध होता ही है, लेकिन शरीर शुद्धि भी होती है। ये अनुभव का विषय है। प्राणायाम से शरीर शुद्धि होती है, मेडिटेशन से मन की शुद्धि होती है। तो मन और शरीर दोनों की शुद्धि हो, इसके लिए ब्रह्म मुहूर्त में, ब्रह्म काल में ये साधना करनी चाहिए। थोड़ी देर प्राणायाम और थोड़ी देर मेडिटेशन।
बहुत बढ़िया सर। यहाँ भी आज मुझे पहली बार समझ में आया कि जरूरी नहीं है कि आउटडोर एक्टिविटी की जाए।
नहीं नहीं, जरूर,
मेडिटेशन मुख्य पर्पज है कि इस समय काल में बहुत बेहतरीन आउटपुट
बहुत
देगा।
बहुत बड़ी बेहतरीन आउटपुट मिलता है 3 बजे से 5
जय
बजे
श्री
तक।
कृष्ण।
जय श्री गुड। एनी मोर क्वेश्चंस
I,
प्लीज?
no, I don't think there are any further questions, Bhaiya.
ओके
Shall we
ओके,
move towards the Samapan?
या श्योर।
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you again for that very absorbing Vivechan session and helping with the Q&A. I'm sure all sadhaks here are filled with a better perspective on their spiritual journey. And that was pretty evident from the comments coming in the chat. On behalf of Geeta Pariwar, I take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for attending this session and for your patience shown due to which we were delayed in starting the Vivechan session. And we
या
look forward to having you back next week for another enlightening Vivechan on Sankhya Yoga. I express my deep gratitude to the technical and the backend team working behind the scenes for their contributions in making this session a success. And now we offer our sincere gratitude to Bhagwan for all the blessings he has bestowed upon us. For that, I call upon Kola Venkata Lakshmi ji from Relangi, West Godavari, Andhra Pradesh. Having joined Geeta Pariwar in September 2024, Lakshmi ji has cleared the Pathik exam and while still being a sadhak in L4. In addition, she provides seva as a core trainer. Lakshmi ji requests you to please lead us in offering our devoted prayer at the lotus feet of Bhagwan. Jai Shri Krishna.
जय श्री कृष्ण। योगेशं सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं व्रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। जय श्री कृष्ण।
Jai Shri Krishna, Didi, and thank you for taking the prayer on our behalf. Let us stay connected to the divine wisdom of Bhagavad Gita by attending the classes regularly through the week and coming back next weekend for the next enlightening Vivechan session. We will now conclude the session with chanting of the Hanuman Chalisa. Jai Shri Krishna.
जोदायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देव मोहि करहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र औ ध्वजा विराजय कांधे जनेऊ जय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबेको आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबेको रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिंहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होतन आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरै हनुमत बल बीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।